Nothing dramatic happened this month. No holiday, no gadget spree. You still feel behind. That confusion is the first clue. By the end, you will see how family financial expectations can stall wealth without looking like overspending, and what to put on paper tonight so love stops pretending it has no cost. Curious neighbor whispers the usual story. Maybe I'm just bad with money. Often that story is wrong. The money left through a door marked family, not failure. CareCom's 2026 Sandwich Generation research found that 77% of dual caregivers feel financially behind because of care responsibilities. That is not a latte problem, that is a system problem. Here is the reframe. Legacy debt is not a bank loan from your grandparents. It is the cash, time, and opportunity you quietly transfer to family expectations, often without writing it down. Love can be real, duty can be real. The maths can still be real. Pretending care is free is what turns devotion into silent stall. Budget apps often miss it. Care transfers hide under gifts, MISC, or cash withdrawals. The app says you are fine, your progress ladder still stalls. Legacy debt shows up in three forms: cash help, unpaid hours, declined opportunity. Most households only notice the first one. Cash help looks like just this once until it becomes a rhythm. Parent bills, transport, meds, top-ups that never get a budget category of their own. Unpaid hours are the second form. Sandwich caregivers in that research spent nearly 24 hours a week arranging and providing care. That is a second job that does not show up as income. The third form is the quietest. You turn down the raise, the travel role, or the harder job because your calendar is already full of other people's needs. The storybook says this hits in your 50s. The same research found dual care often begins around age 34, earlier than many people planned. Earlier than their savings plan assumed. It often arrives suddenly: a health scare, a school need, a sibling who cannot help. You become the reliable one before you have a system. Unprepared is normal. Most people were never taught to plan for overlapping care. Feeling blindsided does not mean you failed. It means the culture left the chapter out. Many caregivers feel their own life is paused while everyone else's needs stay live. That feeling is data. It tells you the system is running on your capacity alone. When the squeeze hits, people usually choose one of three responses. Same pattern each time: vibe, trade-off, hurdle. Response 1 is absorbing silently. The vibe is loyalty. You do not want to look selfish. You want to be the strong one. The trade-off is that your buffer and future self fund everyone else's present. The praise feels warm. The progress bar still drops. The hurdle is permanence. Invisible help becomes the family default. Once nobody sees the cost, nobody plans to share it. Response 2 is cutting your future first. The vibe feels noble. You protect parents and kids by sacrificing the optional line, your own wealth path. The trade-off is that tomorrow you becomes the unpaid backup plan for today's emergency. Care is necessary. Erasing your future is still a choice with a cost. The hurdle is timing. Care seasons can last years. If your future is always the first cut, you may arrive at your own later life with nothing left to stand on. Response 3 is making the load visible. The vibe is adult and loving. You keep showing up and you stop pretending the cost is zero. The trade-off is temporary awkwardness. Naming money and hours can feel colder than silent sacrifice. Clarity is often kinder than quiet resentment. The hurdle is uneven family capacity. Some people cannot help with cash, some will not help with hours. Visibility still matters because it stops you from carrying a myth alone. Here is the middle turn. More than half of sandwich caregivers in that research, 55%, have turned down a promotion, raise, or new opportunity because of dual care. The trap is not only what you pay out, it is the income you never let in. Irony hurts here. The raise that could have funded better support gets declined because support is already maxed. Without a redesign, loyalty can lock the squeeze in place. Ambition often dims quietly. Not because you stopped caring about growth, because every spare hour already has an owner. Naming that pattern is the first way to interrupt it. So pause on this privately. In your household, is the biggest stall the cash leaving, or the opportunities you refuse before you even ask whether support could be redesigned? For sandwich households, the squeeze is literal. Kids and aging parents in the same week. The wealth stall is not moral failure, it is capacity math. For the only reliable sibling, legacy debt can arrive without children in the picture. Being competent becomes a financial assignment nobody voted on. For many households worldwide, family expectation is cultural duty or remittance, not a Western sandwich label. The money lesson travels, unspoken transfers still shape your ladder, couples can split hours, solo carers often cannot. The system still starts the same way, write the real load down before shame rewrites the story. Now the sober part, care is meaningful. It can also rewrite your financial future if it stays informal forever. Reporting on family caregiving costs has put the average around $7,200 a year. Wherever you live, even a smaller local version of that drain still needs a line, or it will steal from goals you thought you failed at. Trap 2 is treating savings as optional the moment care intensifies. In the CareCom research, many dual caregivers deprioritized savings under pressure. Optional is how emergency months become emergency years. Financial planning itself gets skipped, not from laziness, from saturation. When every evening is logistics, nobody opens the long-term plan. That is why a tiny automatic transfer matters. Trap 3 is hiding the full load at work until you burn out or decline every stretch role. Silence can protect privacy. Silence can also block flexible options that exist only if someone knows you need them. Trap 4 is guilt. Many caregivers feel wrong spending anything on themselves while care bills clear. Rest is not betrayal. Collapse helps nobody you are trying to protect. This is not asking you to abandon family. It is not asking you to become cold. It is asking you to stop funding a multi-person care system from an invisible personal account. The practical move is visibility before heroics. When the load is on paper, you can share it, bound it, and protect one future dollar without a speech about selfishness. First, name the care line. Write last month's cash help. Write the hours. Write the opportunity you declined. You cannot manage a cost you refuse to see. Second, separate crisis from rhythm. A hospital week is not the same as a standing monthly transfer. Rhythm belongs in the budget. Crisis belongs in the buffer plan. Third, protect one future dollar before the rest of the paycheck gets negotiated by everyone else's needs. Even a small automatic transfer keeps tomorrow you on the team. Small still counts. The point is not impressing the internet. The point is refusing to make your future the only flexible line in a rigid care month. Fourth, share the load out loud with siblings, a partner, or other capable adults. Ask for specific hours or specific cash, not vague help when you can. Fifth, redesign before you decline. When a raise or role appears, pause. Ask what support would make it possible. Autono is how legacy debt compounds through missed income. If relatives cannot pay, they may still share hours, rides, research, or advocacy. Money is one lever, coordination is another. Isolation is optional more often than it feels. Check whether work offers caregiver benefits, flexible hours, or leave options. Check local respite or adult day programs. Systems are imperfect. Unused systems help nobody. Sustainable care beats heroic care. Heroic care looks noble in the short run. Sustainable care is what lets you still be standing for the people who need you next year. In couples, notice who became the default. If one person holds every school and parent call, that is a financial arrangement, even when nobody calls it that. Progress is not cutting off family. Progress is fewer invisible transfers, one protected future dollar, and fewer automatic career noes made in panic. You are not behind because you are careless. Many people are behind because they are funding a care system that never got a name, a budget, or a team. Shame helps nobody you love. It only keeps the load uneven. Clear numbers are not cruelty. They are how a household stops guessing who is drowning. Meaning and money can coexist. Care can deepen empathy and still require a plan. You do not have to choose between being a good child and having a future. Back at that thin month-end balance, the goal was never to love less. It was to stop letting unspoken family expectations stall your progress in silence. Tonight, one page is enough. Cash out, hours out. One future dollar protected, That is how legacy debt becomes a plan instead of a fog. Start ugly if you must. A messy, honest page beats a perfect plan you never write. Clarity compounds the same way silence does, just in the opposite direction. The next hard week will still be hard. The difference is whether it lands on a system or on your last nerve and last dollar at the same time. You can love your family and still refuse to erase your future. Name the load, share what you can, protect one next step. Subscribe to this channel for more clear money steps like this.